Good evening and welcome everybody, and welcome to tonight's edition of Connectagram Chat, where we've got words on the screen. I'll bring it out of pause mode, where they've been shuffled around and we've got to rearrange them to find the correct words. Some of the letters are in the correct spot, like the E and R here, and the other one. So for an example, we've got these 6 letters and I'll rearrange them now and put it in the order of petrol, which is a fuel commonly used in cars. Another one is diesel, but that's more commonly used in trucks, although it's more used in cars now as well. So if you think you recognize any of the words, feel free to jump in. I'll be having a look over at the chat column every now and then, or if you've got any other questions you think I can help out, then ask. It doesn't have to be about the game. I'll try and see if I could work in an answer, or I might have to get back to you, but I'm happy to take questions if there's something you think I can help out with. I'm going to shy away from things that are maybe too controversial or so, but anything you think you might ask generally, feel free. So I think there's another one there as beauty, to describe how aesthetically pleasing someone is, but you can also have the saying of you beauty, which is just a general comment of happiness and exasperation. Keeper as well. It could be to do with a keeper in a zoo, someone who works at the zoo and looks after the animals. Or you could also say about it like a partner, she or he's a keeper, to mean, like they've done very well. Reminds it of a joke where someone came home, two adults in a long relationship, and one of them came home after a big night out, very drunk, and breakfast this morning. The next morning they get down and they see the things are broken everywhere, and it turns out they've come home very drunk. But when their partners tried to help out, they ended up saying, "Get away from me, I'm married," and that ended up getting the partner was very happy and proud that they showed they were in a committed relationship. I haven't done a very good job of delivering that one, but anyway, we'll kick on. So this looks to be master. Could be a headmaster in school. Closet. You have some clothes in the closet. And this is probably going to be extent. I think that's going to be, expand. When you blow up a balloon, it expands with all the extra air in it. Secret, something you don't want to tell everybody. Season, the 4 different seasons of winter, where it's cold, spring, where it starts to get warm up again, summer, where it's very hot, and then autumn, where it starts to get cold again. There we go. I think it's going to be abroad. Someone might want to study abroad, as in go study in another country. I have an experience there. They might want to learn a different language. No, I'll grab a hint there. So it's going to start with an S. Oh, yep. It's going to be sexual. And submit. Once you're ready to finish an exam, you could submit it and you might be able to leave early. So I'll go on with another game of the same letter. Sorry, another game of the same 6 letters, words randomly shuffled, and I'll build up some longer words as we go on. Unfortunately, I can't really get a mix of several different letters, letter lengths, but I will try to look into getting that as well. I think this is going to be like to do with computers, so delete a file, make it remove it, put it in the trash bin. Spring, so that could refer to the season, or also something like a shock absorber in a car. Oh, grab a hint out of the bat for that one. I think I know what it is now. Parade. I hope if I get my got a bit of I think it was called like colloquially fat fingers and can't quite move the keys right. Parade. So might be a big celebration and a lot of people will walk after the other. So the Anzac Day parades are a big one in Australia where people from different military units will go and march. I think it's going to be, yeah, deeply. I might miss someone deeply, might miss them a lot once someone's passed away. And nobody. The aircraft might have booked too many people on the flight and they've gone around and said, need someone to volunteer to stay behind and we'll give them a bit of extra money and put them on a later flight, but nobody responded, so I had to offer some more money. Decide. Now I went to the cafe, the menu. I had trouble deciding what I wanted to eat. There were a lot of nice things there. I think I'm going to go with its advice for this one. Go to a trusted friend and tell them a problem and ask them what they think. Person. A person's dropped their wallet. Not sure who it is. I think it's going to be... No, it's not Sliver. Anyway, Sliver is a very, very small, like very, very thin, cut a sliver of meat. But instead it's silver, precious metal like gold. We've got second over here. And I think this is going to be wicket. And I think it's, not sure it's used beyond cricket, but the number of wickets a team has got is the number of batters on the opposition, which they've managed to get out via. Whether it's catching, run out, or bowling them out. I know there's been quite a bit of controversy recently where there was the ball was delivered, it went to the wicketkeeper, and the wicketkeeper threw the ball back at the stumps. The batter stepped out of the crease, and when the ball hit the stumps, the batter was out, and they were given out. It was pretty controversial, and it wasn't considered quite very sporting. And fierce. I could say the fighting in the battle of something or other was very fierce. There was a lot of fighting going on. I'll go for a new one and see if I can get a 7-letter one. No worries. What stands out for this one? You might see when you're farewelling a friend, you give them goodbye. We get something new. I have to install it, whether it's a new router or a television. It's not quite ready to go out of the box. Nursery, where a room or an area for children to play in. Because something has happened, because something else happened, before it. We ran out of fuel on the trip because the car wasn't filled up before we left. No. Okay, I think I've got this one now. They're unhappy. Sorry, I'll just step away. I'll be back in a sec. And back. Sorry about that. Explain? Yeah, I was late to work 3 times this week, and the boss asked me to explain. Indoors. Yeah, if the weather's not very nice, we want to stay indoors and not go outside and get wet or stay warm by a fireplace. Abolish. That's another name to say we want to get rid of something altogether. A similar word as ban. I think with abolish, you might be getting rid of something you can't touch. So, for an example, you could be abolishing slavery, but you could ban the usage of plastic bags, single-use plastic bags. And mission. The soldiers were told by the commander what the mission was and what they were intending to go out and do. I'll have a look at this one. Routine, something that might happen every day or so, happens regularly, frequently, and it was routine that the mailman or milk delivery driver would turn up between 6 and 6:30. I was thinking caution originally. Contain, to have something to keep things in, or a container. So even though the horse might have escaped from the pen we were training it in, we had the outside gate closed, and that way we could contain it in a larger area. Whisper. It could mean a very small amount, or to talk very quietly if we didn't want to. We're in a meeting. I didn't want everyone in the room to hear. I might whisper to a friend. Or I could say, if I've just missed, we just got in. That's more, I guess, a whisker. If we just got in before the deadline, like the last bus of the day. Okay, so I'll go into work up to 8-letter words at the moment, which I'll just redraw it. Try and get something that fits on the screen nicely. Okay. This one stands right out for me at the moment. So a bookshop might, the author I like might have released a new novel. So I might place an order with them and then go pick it up whenever they can get it shipped in. And it looks to be related as well here with just general shopping, whether it's grocery shopping or whether we're getting extra things around the house or something like that. No, S doesn't feel too right there, so I'll try. No. Premises. That's like a building might you should commonly use to escort someone off the premises. So it might, if we're in a shopping centre, might be asking them to leave the shops. Treasury. So where the money or the gold is kept. It gets its name from treasure. And this will be chemicals. Also want to store them in a certain area as well. If there's a spill or some things, you don't want that going everywhere. I think I know what this is now. Ultimate. So that might be the top fighter. The ultimate challenge also. The hardest possible or the best possible. Employer. In some regions, you might have large employers like farming or mining. I think it's going to be properly. Want to make sure that when you have a truck with some goods on the top of it, that it's tied down properly. Otherwise, the rope might come loose and it might fall off as you're going around a big turn. Prisoner, someone that's been sentenced to jail. A prisoner might escape from a low security prison. Maybe they were doing some sort of tax fraud or something and wasn't considered a high risk, but now that they've escaped, there's going to be a search made for them. Now, there might also be a prisoner of war or similar. That's a different type, where the only criminal they were was that they were fighting for the other side. And register. So there might be a big event, but to figure out how many people are coming, you've got to tell them in advance. I think this is going to be overtake. So if you want to pass one car onto the highway, you overtake them. But what's common, you could say, yeah, that's very common to almost count on it, that if you're driving along a single lane highway, you'll have a car might be doing 10 kilometers under, and as soon as the road widens and you get 2 lanes, that they'll just all of a sudden speed it up and make it a bit harder for you to overtake. And this would be negative. It's the opposite of positive, and or it could be negative. So we might have a bank account overdrawn where I owe the bank money. And I'll move on to 9-letter words, but change it up a little bit. All right. This one jumps out at me straight away. So interview. So some famous personalities, so Rockstar might be coming and doing a tour for a latest album. And a lot of people from media organizations would be falling over each other's to have a chat with them and broadcast it. I think this is necessary, something that has to be done. And this one as well looks to be poisonous. If I eat some poisonous mushrooms or a poisonous animal, I'm going to get very sick. I'm not sure. There's nothing else really jumping out at me at the moment, though. Starting with Y, it's going to be, there isn't going to be too many words with those. And I think I know what it is. So we could refer to someone who isn't very old as a youngster, and someone who didn't sleep too well. They might have had some bad dreams, called a nightmare. There we go. Okay. An encounter. I could go to the zoo and pay to have a close-up encounter with some of the animals and get to go some places that you wouldn't normally get to as just a normal visitor. It's a meeting with someone or something. Not sure. Invention. So with the invention of the telegram, people were able to communicate with people a lot further away than they would have otherwise, where the mail and the press has been pretty slow and people would actually have to carry messages along, where the telegram is, they could be sent much faster. And I think this is going to be agreement. Someone was looking to maybe sell a business or a house, and they just needed to negotiate some of the details before they could get an agreement. And this will be whichever. So we might go to have a dinner, and dinner, there's a bit of a set menu. So they might know there's going to be 150 people turning up, and we might have a choice of so beef and vegetables or chicken and chips. So I could speak with whoever it is. We know that they're going to, the 10 table, there's going to be 5 beef and 5 chicken, give it at the table. So I can speak with whoever I'm sitting next to and say, you know, you can choose whichever you want, and I'll have whatever you don't have. Yeah, I'll be fine with either dinner, so happy to make the choice yours, rather than we both get something we don't really want. And this should be childhood. Go back to have a school reunion and visit some of my childhood friends. And looks to be newspaper. Yeah, printed every day with the headlines, and quite a few sections in there as well, including classified ads, a few weather days forecast, a sports section, and a section on finance. And this should be somewhat related to the channel, pronounce of how things are said. Speculate. So I might have a guess at the outcome. Yeah, I could, things might have gone missing from the office or the workplace recently, and I might speculate who's been causing them to disappear, but I don't have any proof. Yeah, I just might be guessing. You know, there's nothing I can. Yeah, I'm just having a guess. And this looks to be encourage. So there might be someone looking to go to university, and I might encourage them to study computers rather than, say, mathematics or engineering. And I could also encourage them to apply for a scholarship, and that way they might be able to spend more time studying, get better grades, instead of, say, having to find a job and work at the same time as they're completing the studies. I'll kick it on and try and get it to 10 letters and stick with the chain method again. Let's try switch it up to the rings. There we go. That should fit on the screen a bit better. I think this is going to be preferable. If I had to go and get a car fixed, for me it might be preferable if I could book it in on a Saturday. Probably not going to book it on a Sunday, so that way I wouldn't have to take a day off work. And this looks to be throughout. Might have gone to a dentist who might have to take a tooth out, and because of the anesthetic, I wouldn't have felt anything throughout the operation or throughout the procedure. That looks to be employment. Could say that having a lot of people being able to work from home has changed employment conditions. And this looks to be acceptable. I might not be terribly happy with it, but yeah, it's good enough to go ahead. Yeah, if we go back to the agreement, I may not have thought I got the best deal. I might have been able to negotiate a bit of money, but the person might have needed a bit longer to get it. So instead of being paid in 30 days, I might get paid in 60 or 90. The conditions of the sale of the house they're buying from me might depend on them being able to sell their other house. I think it's going to be exaggerate. So, a common thing with exaggerate is every time you tell a fish story, the fish gets a little bit longer. So, story, it gets a little bit more believable, or I might overstate what actually happened. Instead, yeah, I'll leave it at that one for now. So we've got Q there, so we're pretty much sure that U is going to be next to it. Equivalent. So yeah, it's things that are roughly the same. They don't have to be exactly equal to. So one way you could say that a soft drink might be the equivalent of so many teaspoons or tablespoons of sugar. Or eating a donut is the equivalent of sodium. Yeah, so much. Or on the nightly news, you'd hear that an ounce of gold is equivalent to a certain dollar amount. This is whatever it's trading to. And this should be profitable. It's a baker might need to find like an extra 100 customers a day for it to be profitable. Otherwise, the amount of money they're getting in rent may not match what's being produced, and they may not be able to get as much to pay their employees and similar. If it's profitable, the business is making enough money to make ends meet. And if it's not profitable, it might be better to shut up shop and try something else. Everywhere, I think it's going to be. So if something's everywhere, it's all of the places. You might say, I think in one country they've said that there's a closed circuit TV cameras pretty much everywhere. And that might have been to deter crime. So when a company is looking for a certain job, they might be looking for someone with 2 or 3 years experience rather than someone who's just brand new. And this should be expression. It could be used with mathematical formula, or it could be someone might play an instrument as a form of expression as well. No, I thought it might be director or directionate. We'll start getting some hints. Decoration. So we might go to a friend's wedding and find that at each of the table has a small decoration for us to take home as a memento. And astonished. I might be training for a marathon and to be totally astonished to get under 4 hours when completing it. Particularly if I'm pretty new. It's done a lot more than what was expected. All right, so I think I'll go back to small letters now. Back to the 6 letters. And go again. To bottom can refer to the lower back area of somebody. You'd put the bottom onto the toilet and sit down. Or it can be a ship runs aground when its bottom hits the sandbar. To steady, you might want to hold a camera steady if it's going to take a photo and it might get a bit blurry. Devote. Might. No, oh, sorry, I'm not too sure about that one. Or off the top of my head. To a survey, we're going to go through and look at an area. So before we build a building, we might have a look at the best area to build. To pursue. The cops might stop the pursuit of an offender if they felt that there might be an unacceptable risk if they continued on. They might know who the person is and find that it'd be just a matter of time until the long arm of the law catches up to them eventually. An aspect. So we might have a look at a plans and ask a few other people's because there might be one aspect that I might have overlooked. So if we're looking at our plans for, say, an architect, we might want to get a plumber and an electrician to have a look at as well. A spider. might go outside and find out that the spider has made a new home near some footwear or something like that. And normal. It might be normal that it's very quiet one weekend, but if there's a long weekend, there might be a lot more traffic on the roads with everyone heading away to go for a holiday. To divide, we're going to split some things up. Might have gone down to the shops and bought several different chocolate bars and split them amongst them. Even if we got like a fun pack, there might have been 12 in the pack and got one large one. So that could have been the best way with the amount of money we had. And coming up to an election, we might have leaders debate the different policies where they'll both go and talk. There might be a moderator telling them how much time and trying to see that they can answer questions and go back and forth. An agency, common real estate agency, you might have to go through one of those when selling or renting a house. And racial. All right, I'll do one more and jump up to 7 letters. And I think I might head off soon. I do have some videos that I'll be looking to upload after this. And this looks to be clearly. And closely. I think that's going to be excited. Children were very excited to get up on Christmas Day as Santa is set to bring them lots of presents. Outward, the door might open outward. And welcome. There might be a warning. It's going to be heights, or it might be an enclosed space. So there's going to be a sign or a similar telling people about the issues before they go inside. Another one might be a warning with, say there's a dog inside the property. To combine, we bring them together. Combine some ingredients. When making some bread or so, combine the dry ingredients before adding the wet ones and then start mixing them up. Various. So they're not all the same. Software engineers and testers might try various inputs for their program just to see how it reacts. Victory. So the winning, the team celebrated the victory long into the night. Ashamed. It's the opposite of proud. To pollute might be putting some chemicals, well, some around like lead or a bunch of rubbish that whatever it is, it's not meant to go there. And I think this is going to just be quality based on what's there. And I think I'll finish it up after this one. So if you've got any questions, comments, or feedbacks, please let me know. I'll see about doing this more and having it more as a scheduled item. I'll try and give as much advance notice when I can. And thank you for watching.